3 of this Pilates session with the chair. We're going to carry on now, this time sitting on the floor on your mats and the chair in front of us, between our legs, if that's possible. Now, if this position is too wide for you to have the chair between your legs, you could instead just pop your legs under the chair through the center. You could have your legs connected and straight. You could have a slight bend in the knee, or you can bend the knees completely. Whatever helps you to have a lovely straight back as you sit tall. If you have your legs on either side of the chair, you have the same leg options. Long straight legs, softly bent knees, or fully bent legs. We're going to rest your arms onto the seat of the chair and try to find the straightest back that you can. And let's start with our C curve. So on your breath in, we're going to round your spine, and as you breathe out, we straighten the spine. So we're thinking of drawing the tummy in, the pelvis coming a little bit away from the legs, the head looking down between the legs, and then coming back to your upright position. So it's a breath in, and the breath out. We'll just do one more. Then let's challenge the abdominals a little bit more and come into some rollbacks. So we breathe in for the C curve. Now breathe out and roll back towards the tailbone or onto the tailbone. Breathe in there and then breathe out. Bring the spine forwards, the shoulders over your hips, and then lengthen yourself back to your good sitting. So we breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in to pause and breathe out to come forwards. We'll do 2 more sets. Remember, you can go back as far as you want with your roll backs, as long as you can keep that C shape in your spine. Last one. Great, let's now come into some spine stretch forward. So we'll need a little bit more room in front of us. Let's move the chair back. And this time maybe the hands starting at the front of the chair. Same leg positions. Remember, you can have the legs under the chair if that's more comfortable. If you have fully lengthened legs and flexed feet, that's going to give you a really nice stretch for the hamstrings as you go forwards. I know that's not possible for all of us, and remember, we want to sit up straight to start. We're going to start with a flat back spine stretch. So this is just a very subtle movement. I want you to keep your back as flat as you can and just hinge forwards from your hips. You'll notice you won't go too far, and then you come back upright again. So we'll breathe in to prepare, breathe out, hinge forwards. Breathe in, out to come back. No, in to come back. Breath in, breathe out to go forwards. Breathe in to come back. Just one last one, really folding into your hips and then coming back up. Relax the legs just for a moment. Release any tension into the front of the legs where it often grips, and let's come into the full spine stretch. So back to the same starting position. This time we want the spine to sequentially curl. So we nod the chin to the chest, bring your head forwards, neck, shoulders, arms, upper back, mid back, lower back. Take a breath in at the bottom and breathe out as you come all the way back upright, relaxing the shoulders, sitting tall. Breathe in to prepare the body. Breathe out, nod the chin, soften the chest, stretch the spine forwards, bone by bone by bone. Breath in at the bottom and breathe out as you come back up. We'll do 2 more sets. Again, the tummy's drawing towards the spine as you go forwards. Fingertips reaching for the back of the chair. And last one. Once you've finished from that last set, release the legs from around the sides of the chair, give a little hug if you want to, and again, if you need to, you can shake out the front of the thighs, release the front of the hips. So now we're going to come onto our back. So you will need a head cushion if you normally use one to rest your heads onto. The position of the chair will really depend on the length of your spine and the positioning of your legs. So what I want you to do is to come down onto your back. First of all, into your relaxation position. And then we're going to place the arches of your feet on top of the chair. And ideally what you want to do is to have your knees right above your hips. So for me, I need to just push my chair a little further back to find that good alignment. So now here they are, dropping down into the hip sockets. Arms are going to relax to the sides just for a moment. Feel the weight through the back of the head, through the chest, through the tailbone. Feel the width open across the front of the shoulders, and that weight through the breastbone, sinking down into the mat. And remember, we want to find those natural curves of the spine, so that little hollow under the lower back, that space behind the neck. And then let's start with our climber tree prep. We're going to take hold of the back of your right thigh, just lifting your right foot off the mat, holding with a very loose grip. We flex the right foot, straighten the leg and bend the leg. Breathe out to stretch, breathe in to release. So the leg goes mostly upwards, but it does go slightly forwards, just to help to open through the front of the hip. We'll do 4 more on this side. We have done a little bit of a stretch when we were sitting on the floor, but let's just do a few more because we want lovely long hamstrings for the next exercise. Rest the right foot onto the chair and let's swap to the left. Breathing out as the leg straightens, breathing in to release. Pressing the heel towards the ceiling. Now obviously if you're sitting a lot during the day, those hamstring muscles at the back of the legs get shorter and shorter, and the shorter they get, the more they pull on the lower back. So it's really good for us to keep them lengthened, and this is a great way to do that. This is your last one. Rest your arches back onto the chair, and let's now come into our spine curls. So the arches are resting on the front of the chair. The feet are just a fraction wider than your hips. So the legs are just very slightly going out at a diagonal, lateral rotation. Arms are going to lengthen to your sides. We'll take a breath in. As you breathe out, tilt the pelvis, lift your bum, and bone by bone by bone, peel your spine away from the mat, hips reaching to the ceiling. And then roll back down, bone by bone by bone. Release yourself back to neutral. I'm going to take my head cushion away actually for this one, for my body. You'll know if you feel your chin pushing to your chest as you lift your hips, you may need to do the same. So we take a breath in. As you breathe out, tilt the pelvis, lift your bum, lift your spine, keeping the chest heavy on the mat. Breathe in at the top and breathe out as you roll down. This can be quite intense in the hamstrings, so make sure as you come up that you really squeeze the bottom. The glute should be doing most of the lifting, most of the hip extension. We'll do 3 more sets at the most. Feeling that really lovely articulation through the spine. You might feel it more with your feet lifted on the chair than you would normally do on the mat, which is why I like this exercise so much. Feeling that lovely movement through the lower back. This is the last one. When you get back to the bottom, let's bring the chair a little closer again. And rest your legs onto the chair. So the feet are quite relaxed. The knees are still right above your hips, but your legs are much more passive now. And we're going to come into some curl-ups in this exercise. So I've already taken my head cushion away. If you haven't, take it away. And let's take the hands behind the head, interlacing the fingers together. Take a breath in to prepare the body. And as you breathe out, nod the chin to the chest, lift your head, roll forwards through the top of your spine, looking to your thighs. Take a breath in there, and then breathe out as you roll down. Now you can do this with the legs completely passive, or you can hover them off the chair. So essentially you're doing curl-ups in a double knee fold position, which makes it feel a little bit more challenging. Breathing out as you come up, breathing into pause, and breathing out to come down. And let's just do one more set here. And then rest your legs, release your head to the floor, arms to your sides, gently roll the head from side to side. Next we're going to come into an oblique curl up. So for this one, we're going to add in a lengthened arm across the body to help us to rotate the upper back. So again, take your hands behind your head, interlace the fingers together, come into your curl up, legs stay relaxed for now. Bring your left arm across your body to the outside of your right thigh and then twist your upper body to the right. Take the hand behind your head, roll back down to the mat and come back up again. Right arm across the body, rotate to the left, untwist, hand behind the head and roll back down. So again, you could keep going with passive legs or make them active. Double knee fold, same exercise. Oblique twist to the right and oblique twist to the left. We're going to do 2 more sets. So we breathe out as we come up. Breathe in to lengthen the arm, breathe out to rotate. Breathe in to untwist, breathe out to roll down. Just check that the pelvis stays level throughout the movement. So the legs shouldn't shift, the pelvis shouldn't shift. The only thing twisting from side to side is the spine, the upper back. Head, neck, shoulders, ribs. This is your last one. And then rest your feet, rest your heads, arms to your sides, and gently roll your head from side to side. Great, let's now transition onto our side. So slowly bring your feet down, and we're going to come up very briefly into sitting position and then onto our tummies. And we're going to come into a cobra prep exercise where we use the legs of the chair to help us to come up through the spine. So what I want you to do is to, first of all, bring your legs all the way down the back of your mat. I'm actually pretty much half on, half off my mat. Then I'm going to push my chair a little further forward so that I can have straight arms and hold onto the legs of the chair with my hands. My forehead will rest onto the floor. You could use a little cushion again and pop the cushion under your forehead to rest your head onto the cushion instead. As you lie here, let's have the legs a little wider than your hips, heels dropping in, toes pointing out to the corners of the mat. And as I say, you want really long straight arms and your forehead resting onto the mat. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, slide the nose forward, lift the back of the head. The chest goes forwards towards the chair and upwards. Breath in at the top and breathe out to come down. We'll do one more like that. Notice how the arms stay relaxed and heavy on the floor. Just finding that length through the top of the spine. And then releasing. So now if you want more challenge, let's bring your hands a little higher up the chair, just one hand's height higher. So now the arms are hovering, head comes down, take a breath in, breathe out, come back up. Maybe getting a little bit more length through the upper back, releasing back down again. You can stay there and repeat that, or you can go down, or maybe you come up again. Breath in, breathe out. Breath in at the top, and breathe out to come down. Now remember that the tummy should be active as you continue to work through the upper back. So the tummy connects to the spine, the nose slides forward, we lift the chest. Breath in at the top and breathing out. And just go body allows. I think for me, this is my limit. I'm going to take a breath in, breathe out, coming up. So quite strong work into the shoulders, the upper back, and then releasing all the way back. You could then repeat that all the way back down to the floor, or you can stay here and do a few more sets, or you can come right back to the bottom and just finish off maybe one last set there. And then bring the hands under the shoulders, lift yourself off the mat. I'm going to come forwards just so I'm within camera shot, bum towards the feet, stretch the arms out, rounding the back into a nice child's pose, resting position. A few deep breaths there, releasing tension in the body. And then connect the tummy, roll yourself back up. And we're going to finish off actually on the mat. I'm just going to get rid of the chair because we don't need it for the last exercise. We're going to come into our plank. So what I want you to do for this last exercise on the mat is to come to the very front of your mat. Knees under hips, arms right under your shoulders. Spread the fingers wide. Make sure you have space behind you to straighten your legs. Take your socks off if you've got very slippery socks. We want to have a nice strong grip on the mat. So when you are ready, draw your tummy to your spine, take a breath in. As you breathe out, stretch the right leg behind, tuck the toes under, take a breath in. Breathe out, left leg goes behind, take a breath in. Breathe out, one more breath in, and then breathe out. Right knee comes back, left knee comes back, and you're back to your starting position. Now just watch where my bum is for this exercise. What I want you to make sure as you work through the legs is that the bottom doesn't drop, it doesn't sag down to the mat. Equally, it doesn't come up to the ceiling. We want to find or maintain that neutral spine, neutral pelvis. We take a breath in, breathe out, lengthen the leg behind, breathe in. Breathe out, other leg behind. You feel that lift from underneath, from the tummy. And then bring the first leg back, bring the second leg back. You can keep alternating the legs. I've done a little bit of that just to cue you in though. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, right leg back first. Breathe in, breathe out, left leg back. You're going to hold that for a couple of breaths. And on the last out breath, the first knee comes back, then the second. And we're going to finish one last set. Left leg will lead. Right leg will follow. Feel that lift from underneath, keep that strong center, strong shoulders, and then bring the first leg back and the second, and then come back again to rest. Child's pose, rest position, head to the floor if you can, or make a little cushion with your hands, and take some lovely big breaths into that position. Releasing through the wrists if you need to, a few little wrist circles or shakes. The shoulders can release as well. And then gently rolling yourself back up and finishing off in that position. Well done. We've got one last part to go. So I'll see you in just a few moments for part 4. Really good work. Well done.